Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment as we have some news from the Tennessee Titans. They have promoted General Manager Rand Carthon to now also being Executive Vice President. And they have also promoted Chad Brinker, who was Assistant General Manager, to now being the President of Football Operations. And we have a quote here from Amy Adams-Strunk, the controlling owner herself, that I really want to read to you guys. Again, before I read it, and I'll say this after too, continue to doubt Amy Adams-Strunk. For those of you who continue to do that, go right ahead. I believe in our owner. She begins. This is how she begins this statement. Wow. This is not my father's NFL. As our league continues to evolve in areas like analytics, sports science, and technology, football organizations have become more complex and multifaceted. I want our football operation to be at the forefront of the NFL as teams continue to find new competitive advantages. In this new role, Chad will blend his executive experience with his strengths in football and scouting to ensure our football operation continues to innovate and grow as new opportunities emerge. Chad's oversight of these areas will allow Rand to focus his full attention and energy on building and leading a championship football team. Wow. She also commented on Brian Callahan, and we're going to get more into this tomorrow after we recap the Brian Callahan press conference, but she said this about Brian Callahan. This is an exciting time for our franchise, and we're thrilled to have Brian as our head coach. We went through a candidate search, and Brian stood out as the best person to lead our football team. I want to thank the other candidates who were part of this process and wish them well moving forward. Brian has a track record of success and range of experience that has prepared him for this opportunity. His football knowledge and his enthusiasm for the game really stand out, and beyond that, we think his ability to lead will make it the ideal fit for our franchise. If you look at his history, Brian has been a part of a Super Bowl winning team, Denver in 2015, and another team that advanced to a Super Bowl, Cincinnati in 2021. Those are parenthetical, by the way. He's worked in a variety of dynamic offenses with top-flight quarterbacks. At each step of his career, he's shown flexibility and intelligence to make an impact. And yet, people continue to doubt Amy Adams-Strunk. This is why Mike Vrabel was fired. Because, obviously, he did not like the changes in terms of wanting to involve more analytics. God forbid that we draft players with speed, with agility, with high RAS scores. God forbid. God forbid we might get a wide receiver that can actually be able to go out there and run a go route. God forbid. Why would we do something like that? Why would we have running backs that can actually, and Henry can do this, but why would we not have, speedy running backs that can run outside zone? Why would we do such a thing? Why would we run, some innovative things offensively? Some read options, some RPOs. Why would we do that? There's no reason to do that. Why would we not run some zone schemes? Let's just stick to the old guard. And again, that's not to take away from the strong 2020 and, in the regular season, 2020 and 2021 seasons. It worked, and then it didn't work. And we can blame John Robinson, and that's fine. But you can't tell me that at some point Mike Vrabel could have said, hey, can we get this speedy wide receiver here? Or at some point could have helped the development of one of these offensive linemen. One of them. The only one that he developed was Nate Davis, and we let him walk. Didn't develop any other offensive lineman. He's a coach. Coach the offensive line. Coach the wide receivers. Make them better. Like, you look at Puka Nacua, who went in the 5th, right? Now, should he have went that low? Probably not. But don't you think there's something involved with coaching and schematics as to how he's able to break the rookie receiving yard record? Yeah, he's good. He's not better than Randy Moss, okay? They put him in a position to succeed. And they're huge into analytics. They're a forward-thinking franchise. You can do that with some players if you're actually a little bit innovative. Rand Carthon. My only real blemish with him this entire offseason was Andre Dillard. Okay, I didn't like him when we signed him, and we're probably going to cut him. And there's not much dead cap next year, but there is some, so it's not completely unforgivable. But considering the fact we have so much cap space next year anyway, it's not a big deal. But going into the season with Andre Dillard as your left tackle was kind of stupid. Outside of that, I haven't had a problem with anything. I mean, Aziz Al-Shaair was mostly fine. And then, the other signings have been mostly fine. Like Arden Key, whatever. There wasn't the home run was probably Levis. You guys can see on that. And Skoronski he had a fine rookie year for a guard. And then Tajay, we think is going to be a home run. But I think his rookie year was like a B plus, A minus. Probably a B plus. A minus is a little stretch. But you can see the potential for him. But so the draft overall went fine. We had to see Jalen Duncan stinks. He was a late pick anyway. And then Colton Dowell, we don't even know. Josh Wiley, still. So I liked what we saw. I didn't hate anything other than Andre Dillard. And at first, I didn't like the Will Levis pick, and I've been proven wrong thus far. And now, again, we have to continue to see. Remember, I compare him to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield had a great year this year. I'm not saying Will Levis can't have great years. Maybe he's even better than I thought. Maybe he's going to be better than Baker at his best. Maybe. I don't know. We have to see. But at least he'll be Baker. I do agree. I think he'll at least be Baker. So we're heading in the right direction, but without a doubt, you have to be impressed with Rand Carthon in this Game of Thrones because it all falls on him now. He came in last year as just GM. And a year later, he's been promoted to executive vice president, and Mike Vrabel is out of here. Talk about a master class of taking over an organization. I mean, it is truly something to behold. And then now he's had a big part in getting his offensive coach who's going to do his vision. So it kind of begs the question, like, well, you might as well have just maybe fired Vrabel last year then. Because let's be honest. Did you want him as your head coach? Or did you always want him out of there? Now, is that shady? Maybe a little. I'm going to call it what it is. There's a Game of Thrones going on there. But he didn't sabotage the roster. We had to get rid of, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But we had to get rid of some of the pieces that we had last year for the cap raise, and they wouldn't have helped us anyway. Like a Robert Woods and some of those other guys. So it's not like he clowned the roster, setting up Vrabel for failure. Hell, Vrabel wanted to keep Tannehill as a starter. He wanted to keep Henry. He wanted to keep Byard as long as we did. So Vrabel failed anyway. And now, without a doubt, we're going to look at this moving forward, and it's all going to fall on you, Rand. All right? I have faith. I'm Team Rand on this. And we're going to look back because if Vrabel ends up going somewhere else and does well, and we don't, everyone's going to look back and say, Rand ruined this franchise. And also Amy Adams Strunk because she is also the one making the decisions. Or Vrabel's going to maybe not go somewhere. He's going to end up somewhere at some point. He's going to go somewhere, not do well. We're going to do great. We're going to say we made the right decision. And hopefully not. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Hopefully not. I think this is better than the worst case scenario, but somewhere in between. And then we'll just debate it forever, and we'll never have a real answer on that. But it's going to be interesting. But this is now Rand's plan, okay? And I'm going to come up with something better than that because my boy Louis T, he used to have the terminology Ron's plan for the Commanders, and we saw how that worked out. So I'm going to come up with another moniker for Rand Carthon and his plan because Ron's plan didn't work out. So maybe Rand's plan will, but I'm going to come up with something better than Rand's plan because I don't want to... One, I don't want to steal Louis T's phrase. And number two, the phrase didn't work out so well. Shout out my boy Louis T. So that's good. And then Chad Brinker. So again, for those of you that don't know who he is, he was with the Green Bay Packers for 13 years. I can't remember what exactly his role was, but it was various things in terms of the front office role that he had previously with the Packers, and then last year he was an assistant GM, but very analytics-driven guy. And what is interesting, so he's doing more of the salary cap management. I wish I knew a little bit more of what that meant, but we used to have a guy, I can't remember his name, but it was Lou something. If someone can, let me see if I can find his name right now. that used to do the salary cap for us before he left. Lose something. I can't remember what his name was. And he was, to me, the reason why we could never get these deals done. A lot of them, or it would take until like the last minute. Like he was with us, I want to say since like 2010 through like 2021 or something. And he was always the reason I looked at him being like, because he was the one that used to be in charge of like salary cap management. And yeah, I can't remember his name was, I'm pretty sure it was Lou something. And then Chad Brigger is now essentially doing that. So yeah, I can't find it right now. I'll probably add it in the comments later. So hopefully that, these guys are aligned, and I'm sure they will be, in terms of like, okay, like this is how much cap we have, this is how much cap we should continue to have. That way when Rand's trying to construct a roster, they're aligned. And, that Brinker is not, or Brinker is keeping him in check and saying that, okay, you can't overspend for all these guys, but also at the same time letting Rand have the players that he wants. So hopefully that's a relationship that will continue to work out. I like a couple of the comments. We have Ranalytics. I like Ranalytics. Ranalytics is pretty good. It's not catchy in terms of like a plan, but I'll use the term Ranalytics though. That's a good term. I want to call this vision something though. Ranalytics, it's not a good name for the vision, but I'm going to come up with something. But I like Ranthology is pretty good. Ranthology, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's up there right now. I like that. So here we go. We'll see. I also see a comment that Henry could still be incorporated. I doubt it. I mean, it'd be nice. I'd like to see Henry again past 10,000 yards here. I just don't see it. And look, Henry had a great finale. I think that's fine. So I think you just end it there, to be honest. But I mean, if we bring him, I'm not gonna hate it as long as it's under. For me, it has to be under 9, ideally under 8 million. Although I don't think cap's gonna be a problem next year. Like next year, although I know we have $80 million in cap, and we're gonna go into the cap and everything, we should not spend all 80 million. Not even close. We should leave at least 25. Probably you should want to say 30, 35. To be honest with you, Church. But we'll get into that later on. So anyway, that's going to do it for me here. Just a quick update. Rand Carthon, that's your boy. Okay, you may not like it, but that's your boy. And we're going to find out. Look, at least give him a shot. Hey, the funny thing about GMs, we're always on board until we're not, usually. Although some people were against Rand from the beginning, which is wild. But when John Robinson got hired, everyone was Team J-Rob. J-Rob could do no wrong. And then even like, the 2016 trade down, which you look back and you're like, well, maybe we should have took Goff, but or Ramsey, and I wanted Ramsey, but it ended up working out because we got Conklin and Henry, so it was fine. But it ended up working out. And then everyone was Team J-Rob, and then when Russ and Webster got hired, and then Webster, Locker was drafted before him. So, but he drafted like Kendall Wright, and we thought that first draft was great with Kendall Wright and Zach Brown, who had some shady things about it. We thought that was interesting. And whoever that outside linebacker out of UCLA was, forgetting his name now, this is going to bother me. Who was that linebacker we had out of UCLA that ended up being a little bit of a disappointment? In fact, a lot of disappointment, because I like that guy. I thought he was going to come in here and do really well. It was, 2012. Akeem Ayers. Who actually, he might have been the year before. Yeah, he was the year before. My bad. He was a previous draft. But I remember we liked that 2012 Titans draft and what Russell Webster was doing. And then I remember even going into 2013. Like, we didn't love our 2012, but we were like, hey, we still believe in Russ and Webster. And then we drafted Chance Warmack, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is going to be a Hall of Fame guard. We're getting this Hall of Fame guard. And then, everything's going to work out. And then he ended up falling out of favor and then being fired. And after getting fired for 4 years, it's pretty early. I mean, it was a pretty bad reign for Russ and Webster. And also we got Justin Hunter in that draft. Oh, yeah, the excitement was high. So the excitement's always high. Early for GMs. I think this is different. I like what I'm seeing. This is a huge off season though, because now again we were cap stricken last year, and we didn't have many draft picks. Now we have more draft picks. Kind of, we don't have a third, but we have a lot of cap. So here's the ingredients, or actually not ingredients. Here's the money. Go to Kroger, get your groceries. Come back, Callahan, cook. All right. We got Carthon gonna go get the groceries. Callahan, cook. And we're going to see how the meal is. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.